Hello, vinyl community, and thank you once again for tuning into Mike's Vinyl Experience. I appreciate you all so very, very much. Thank you for tuning in today. I hope each of you had a wonderful, exciting, and safe Christmas. Once again, thank you for tuning in. Today's video is a follow-up from a video that I did just a short few days ago of my favorite rock and roll albums, reissues, rock and roll albums of 2023. Today's follow-up is going to be my jazz albums. Most are reissues from 2023. One is actually a new one. I think at least one is a new album. One actually was a suggestion from one of you listeners that turned me on to an individual that I'd never really listened to before and to a wonderful sounding album. I'm going to be talking about that today. So just really briefly, thank you so much for commenting in my comments on my video. It helps me so much. It helps me learn about not only new music, new artists, but it helps me get to know who you are and the music and interests that you guys have so that I can better craft my videos. Thank you so very much for your comments. Once again, if you like what you see in these videos, please go ahead and subscribe, but please for sure make sure that you write your comments in the comment section below. The first album on my list, well actually the first two or three on my list are actually from Craft Recordings. The first one that I have is the Tony Bennett, Bill Evans album that just barely came out, gosh, I think maybe a month ago, maybe 6 weeks ago, something like that. This is a wonderful sounding, great album. Up until when this came out, I really didn't know that Bill Evans and Tony Bennett did an album together, but apparently they've been a couple. And so listening to this is just a wonderful sounding album. Of course, Kevin Gray at Cohearent Audio was the one that did the remastering. RTI did the pressing. A wonderfully beautiful album. When in Rome on this album, I believe it's on side 1, is fantastic sounding, as is the entire album. What a great sounding album. Tony Bennett and Bill Evans. The next album on my list of jazz reissues is none other than the Bill Evans Trio, Sunday at the Village Vanguard. I did a little video on this. I reviewed this album and compared it to the Mobile Fidelity One Step. This is a phenomenal, important album that Craft Recordings, as part of their original jazz classics reissues. It's just a phenomenal sounding and a phenomenal album. It was recorded originally in 1961. The band members at the time are Scott LaFaro on bass, Paul Motion on drums, of course Bill Evans on the piano. What an incredibly amazing sounding album this is. Of course, Gloria's Step is a fantastic Solar on the first side. Last song on the side 1, called Solar, is a phenomenal song. Great album. If you don't have this is an important one to me. Great sounding album. They did a great job on this. Of course, Kevin Gray at Cohearent Audio did the remastering on this. The album was cut at RTI. Just another phenomenal job by Craft Recordings, in my opinion. The next album on my list is another Craft Recording album. This one actually is a live recording. This is Wes Montgomery, the Complete Full House Recordings. What an incredibly wonderful sounding album this is. It was recorded originally in 1962, as you can see there in Berkeley, California. This is a triple album. The mastering was done by Joe Tarantino, and the vinyl was cut, the lacquers were cut by Kevin Gray. The sound quality on this recording is very, very nice. As indicated, it is a triple album. Let me see if I can open this all up to where you can actually see it. I don't know if you can get and see all of it there, but it is an absolute wonderful sounding album. Wes Montgomery. It's a live recording, the complete house, full house recordings. On side one, I've grown accustomed to her face, and Blue and Boogie is absolutely really fun songs to listen to. They sound phenomenal. The sound quality, you know what? Sound quality on all of these albums I'm talking about today are excellent. Of course, the first three that we done were mastered by Kevin Gray, so that kind of tells you right now that they're all going to sound good. But all of these that I'm talking about today sound really good. This is a wonderful sounding album, really fun jazz music, bebop type of music, really fun sounding album. Wes Montgomery, the complete full house recordings. Okay, the next album that I have on my list is from Blue Note on their Tone Poet series. Actually, the next one or two or three are Tone Poets. This one is Jack Wilson, Easterly Winds. This is a phenomenal sounding album, so you can see it a little bit better. Jack Wilson, the musicians on there are Lee Morgan, Garnett Brown, Jackie McLean, Bob Crenshaw, and Billy Higgins. This is on, of course, the Blue Note. I believe this one was recut by Kevin Gray at Cohearent. Who else? So it sounds wonderful. I played this probably 4 or 5 different times since I've got it. It grows on you. It's a really good sounding album. Of course, Blue Note, they do such a wonderful job with their albums. Sorry about the glare. They just do such a really wonderful job with these albums. I mean, gatefold jackets, they are just done so well. 180 gram vinyl. Sound quality is absolutely phenomenal. One of my favorites of this year, Jack Wilson, Easterly Winds. Wonderful, wonderful sounding jazz album. The next album on my list of 2023 jazz albums is Sonny Clark Trio with Paul Chambers and Philly Joe Jones. I just love Sonny Clark's music. His piano style of playing to me is phenomenal. I've got another album that I've had for many years of his. It's called Voodoo. It's a great album too, but this is such an important album that was done in 1958. I mean, that's crazy, right? Of course, this was remastered by Kevin Gray at Cohearent Audio from the original master tapes. Sound quality, let me get this out just really quick, is absolutely phenomenal. But once again, Blue Note, in my opinion, is just tearing it up, doing a great job with these gatefolds. The album work is just incredible. Of course, the music and the vinyl sounds amazing, but the work that they're doing in repressing and redoing these albums is just phenomenal. They're really works of art, I think. What a great, great album. If you're into jazz pianists like Bill Evans, add Sonny Clark to your list. He's wonderful. Like I say, his albums are wonderful. My favorite, along with this one, is an album, like I said, called Voodoo. Great, great stuff. Sonny Clark Trio. My next album on my list is from Acoustic Sound Series and Verve, the Wynton Kelly Trio, featuring Wes Montgomery, Smokin at the half note. Now, Wynton Kelly, of course, is a great pianist, and if you've heard him and know him, he's wonderful as well. But Wes Montgomery, his guitar playing, jazz guitar playing, is utterly phenomenal. This is a great, great sounding album. And once again, Acoustic Sounds, like the Blue Note series, these guys are just doing a phenomenal job of reissuing these albums. The album covers are absolutely wonderful. They're beautiful. The music, of course, is being remastered, and like I said, in this case, by Ryan K. Smith at Sterling Sound. So the sound quality, and also being pressed on 180 gram vinyl. So the sound quality is just nothing short of phenomenal. But I think the most important thing that we're getting with a lot of these reissues, in particular from the 50s and 60s, this was recorded in 1965. we're hearing some of the finest musicians that there ever has been for jazz, in my opinion. This time of jazz was incredible. I mean, look at the musicians here. Of course, you got Wes Montgomery on guitar and Wynton Kelly on piano, but you got Paul Chambers on bass, Jimmy Cobb on drums. What an incredible time the 50s and 60s were for jazz music. This is another, in my opinion, important jazz release that was repressed, remastered, and redone for 2023. It sounds phenomenal. What a great, great album this is. The next album that I have is another Acoustic Sounds Verve reissue. This one is Alice Coltrane, Journey in Satchidananda. I pronounce it differently every time. I can't get it right. I hope I'm not the only one that can't pronounce that very well. The album features Pharoah Sanders. Of course, Alice Coltrane was the wife of John Coltrane. And my favorite song on this album in particular is that one about John Coltrane. Something About John Coltrane. The album is phenomenal. The recording was done, of course, by Ryan K. Smith at Sterling Sound. Once again, these guys are just doing a phenomenal job on repressing these albums. The gatefold covers are just nothing short of amazing. They're repressing these. They just look and they sound phenomenal. Alice Coltrane, Journey in Satchidananda. Maybe that's how you say it. I don't know. It sounds great. But Something About John Coltrane is probably my favorite song on this album. The entire album sounds really, really nice. Of course, Alice Coltrane plays the piano and harp. She's accompanied by Pharoah Sanders, Cecil McBee, Charlie Hayden, Rashid Ali, and Mahad Jabiz. In particular, this album, all of it was done in the studio with the exception of one cut, and that one cut's the last cut on side B, Isis and Orsis, that was live, recorded live. This album was made in 1970, except for the live cut was recorded in 1971. I believe the album did come out in 1971. But what an incredibly wonderful sounding and important musical adventure. Alice Coltrane, Journey in Satchidananda, featuring Pharoah Sanders. Great sounding, wonderful, interesting music on this album. It's worth the purchase just, in my opinion, just for the title, Something About John Coltrane. That's a wonderful song that Alice Coltrane did. It's worth purchasing just to listen to it. And once again, the sound quality is phenomenal. Next album on my list of jazz albums, reissues from 2023, is the Oscar Peterson Trio, Night Train. This is another Verve Acoustic Sound Series album. What a great album this is. Originally released in 1963, of course. Ryan K. Smith at Sterling did the remastering from the original master tapes. Once again, it's a gatefold. Gosh, these guys are doing a great job in rendering and reprinting these albums. The covers, the gatefolds, not to mention, of course, the vinyl, which is the most important part. It's just done so phenomenally well. What an incredible sounding album. This album's quite a bit different from some of the other jazz albums that we've been looking at today, in the sense that it's a little bit more laid back, a little bit more, I dare say, relaxing music. Musicians on the album, of course, Oscar Peterson on piano, Ray Brown bass, Ed Thigpen on drums. It just seems to be a little bit more relaxing. Band Call on side 2 of the album is probably my favorite cut on the album. It's a great, great song. But the entire album is from what we've been listening to or looking at, the albums that we've looked at already today, this one's a little bit more laid back, a little bit more mellow. So if you're looking for an album that maybe to kind of kick back with and maybe take a little bit of relaxing, collect your thoughts, whatever it might be, great album to do that with. The Oscar Peterson Trio, Night Train. Wonderful sounding album. The next album on my list of albums of reissues for 2023 is a one-step by Impex recordings. Really wonderful sounding album. This album was remastered by Bernie Grundman from the original analog tapes. Of course, it's a dual 45 album. It does come with a little booklet in here. The album covers that Impex is doing is equally as wonderful on these one steps. What an incredible rendition, and sorry about that glare. Apologize for that. Not sure how I handle that, but there we go. That's a little bit better. But it's just a phenomenal sounding. I am a huge, this talks about their one-step process that Impex does. I have always been a huge fan of Patricia Barber. I'm not sure, and in fact, I've talked about her in three of my videos. I'm not sure if I have every one of her albums, but I'll bet you I've got the vast majority. Patricia Barber, Nightclub. This is a wonderful sounding album. I do have the original Premonition copy, and it sounds wonderful too. This certainly does best it. The one step that Impex has done, it certainly sounds better, and it is, you can hear the difference for sure. It's not subtle, but the originals are done well. Premonition's originals that they did of Patricia Barber's albums, they all sound really well. If you can find one, and they're, I think, still in print, they're worth getting. But this one step, to me, was a very important one. I love her music. Patricia Barber, Nightclub. The last album on my list is a new album for 2023. It's not a repress, but it is an audiophile label. Of course, it's Kirsten Edkins, Shapes and Sounds. Now, this came from Kevin Gray at Cohearent Audio's new record label, Cohearent Records. Once again, Kevin Gray, if you know he's involved, it's going to be stellar, and this is. It sounds wonderful. This is definitely what I would call an audiophile record. If you're into audiophile music, wonderful sounding. The music on here is good. I don't want to discredit the music. It's very good. Kirsten Edkins is a very excellent and accomplished saxophone player. And she's got some other musicians on here that are equally as wonderful. But this is an audiophile recording. Excellent sounding album. Of course, Kevin Gray did a great job in having the album cover is done specifically very well. His new label, Cohearent Records, just the incredible sound quality of this album. Anything that comes out on Cohearent Records in the future, I will definitely purchase, just because I know it's going to sound amazing, as this album does. And once again, the music is really quite good. It's a good listen. If you're an audiophile, and the sound of your system is important to you, then this is probably an album that you should probably have in your collection, just for the sheer sound alone. But as indicated, the music here is very good as well. Great sounding album for an audiophile. Very nice sounding. Thank you once again for watching. Wow, 2023 was a great year for audiophile reissues, in particular, as we've talked about today, in the jazz world. Please, as you watch these videos, please leave comments in the comment section below. Let me tell you how important that is to me. I received from Jeffrey Larson a suggestion on a jazz album. It's called Woody Shaw, Blackstone Legacy. He suggested this to me, and I gave it a listen. After I listened to it on Spotify, I ordered it and purchased it. This is by Craft Recordings. It was an original 1971 contemporary album on the Contemporary label, by Woody Shaw. The remastering job was done by Kevin Gray at Cohearent Audio. Craft Recordings is the one that put this out. Great album. Woody Shaw has never been on my radar, to be honest with you. So thank you, Jeffrey, for suggesting him. This is a great album. Sound quality is excellent. And great music too, by the way. Woody Shaw, Blackstone Legacy. Thank you, Jeffrey, for suggesting this. That's how important your comments are to me. And I think that's how we've talked about a little bit before, how we all learn. We all get to know different artists, different types of music even from time to time. Thank you so much for leaving your comments. It's been a great year. 2023 has been a wonderful year. We've had the opportunity to, and maybe I should say re-enjoy, some incredible, wonderful music, in particular in the repressing, reissues world, audiophile reissues world. And we've also had some great new music come out as well. I'm looking forward to 2024. I know right out of the gate, January 5th, I believe, at the Atlantic 75, there's 3 more titles from the Atlantic 75 and Acoustic Sound Series that are coming out. And I'm way interested in all 3 of them. So we'll be looking at those and doing some videos on that. I've got 3 or 4 other videos planned, upcoming right away. I'm getting down to where I can actually do a room tour very, very soon. I've been converting my theater room into my 2-channel audio room. So I've been doing some work trying to get that organized so I can actually do a room tour of my system. And I've got the upgrade bug. And so I'm looking at doing some upgrade. I did an upgrade on my turntable last year. I'm kind of looking to want to upgrade some new speakers, maybe an amp and a preamp. I've got that upgrade bug and I know how dangerous that is. My wife just goes crazy when I mention the word upgrade. But anyway, I've got that bug and I'm kind of looking around trying to figure out what I would like to do next. But I've got that video coming up, a room tour video coming up, and many others. Thank you so much for your suggestions. As indicated, please leave comments in the comment section below. If you're interested and you like what you see, please go ahead and subscribe. Have a happy new year, and we'll see you very, very soon. Thank you.